All right, are we actually live or is this one of those fake starts? At least my veins are on point. Got that garden hose running up my arm. Wait a second, see what's happening. A lot of times it waits 30 seconds and it restarts my timer. Get the microphone over here. Get ready to go. All right, and we are live. Hey, everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Thought I would sit down and do a live for you guys and gals. It's a little bit early, but we'll see if they get some people in the other time zone, some of my European followers and stuff. Let me give you guys a forearm shot before we get started. All right, let's talk a little bit about splits. And this is something I think people need to remember. I used to be anti-bro split due to information and knowledge we had. And the whole evidence-based world was based upon some preliminary studies. The fact of the matter is those studies didn't pan out. They didn't pan out well. Later studies have shown that they were looking at a single factor muscle protein synthesis. And the truth is when volume is matched, guess what? Gains are equal. There's simply no data to suggest that the higher frequency works better. It all balances out in the end. A lot of it comes down to personal preference. So here's the thing. One of the things I noticed in a lot of my clients and noticed in myself, particularly as I got older, and this is why I'm like, look for longevity under the bar, doing this works really, really, really well. Okay, training each muscle only once a week. One of the things I can say, lifting the way that I lift, the weights that I move at my age, I don't get any joint pain. You guys notice I don't ever complain about shoulder pain anymore, shoulder problems, yet you guys see me rep 315 on a bench, wide grip, flat back, all that stuff that scares people. I don't have those problems. I deadlift heavy 500 plus pounds for reps every week, no problems. That is the thing that I've noticed. The once a week training, we can argue all day long about muscle growth, muscle protein synthesis, whether it's equal, better, worse. But one of the things I will notice, joints. Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's way better. Way better. So I'm not answering any of y'all's questions till I get a number of likes equal to the number of people asking questions. But what I will do is link my Facebook fan page. If you guys will follow me there, it's also linked in the description. It would be greatly appreciated. But I see 4 people asking questions and there were 0 likes. Let's get those likes up, people. And then we will go over and answer these questions. All right. Well, I guess not, because people aren't clicking like or asking the questions, so fuck y'all. Not answering your questions till we get the likes, guys. This is how it's got to be. So I'm going to keep talking until that count goes up. So yeah, but that is something I have absolutely noticed. Absolutely noticed. Is that joints feel better. Joints don't hurt. It's better for longevity under the bar. Wooby, that's not what I've said. You guys are saying that in my comments. I'm not the one saying it. Okay, so let's come over and let's answer some questions. Peppermint says, first, you did get first. Caught another live. Let's get into these things. Bubby says, thoughts on chest expanders. Alex Leonidas brags about it. They're completely useless. There is no physiology behind them. There is no reason to think chest expanders do anything of value for expanding your chest. There you go. That's my answer to it. Bob says, isn't hitting muscle groups with higher frequency better for muscle growth? You have evidence of that? Studies haven't shown that to actually be the case. We could argue about muscle protein synthesis versus recovery and performance session to session. Okay. We can argue that historically, plenty of people have developed phenomenal world-class level physiques and elite power lifts training muscle groups once a week just fine. Right? So my response is, you don't have any proof. There's no reason to think that it's the case. All right. Wooby says, how to improve lockout strength on bench. Build your triceps. Build your front delts. There you go. Problem solved. Maybe also think about what style of benching you're doing. Why are you weak on the lockout? Why are you weak on the lockout? Maybe we need to see your technique. Because we can argue about muscle weaknesses, sure. But how do we know that you just don't know how to bench? I could be it too. Coach, which method you use to grow your massive calves? I picked my parents very carefully. All right. I'm sorry. My amazing technique on calf raises. Calf raises, sled work, squats, all that stuff. Honestly, I built them mostly with other things. They've started growing a little since I've been doing calf raises. Honestly, my sled work, my squats, all of that, and my genetics through my calves. Now, Ruby said, now, why do you keep linking Facebook? Well, you thought wrong. You thought wrong. The algorithm isn't unpredictable. There's issues with it. But it's definitely worth me pumping that channel back up, that page up. So, yes, I want you people to follow me on the Facebooks. Bob says, how did Alex Leonidas build up such a massive bench press? He's just built the bench. He has short arms. He's a short guy with a massive chest. Massive chest, big delts. Pretty straightforward. Keep in mind, Alex is like 5'5" with short arms too. But all of those factors, he's a good bencher. Like I'm not going to stand here and clown and say he can't bench because we all know he can bench, right? You got to give credit where credit is due. Your Monica says, how old are you? You're massive. I am 47. I turned 48 in December. Notice that gray in my beard. That's salt and pepper. All right. Ruby says, pause bench with a medium grip, 275 to 200 pounds body weight. I have good technique. Maybe to go a little wider or work on your triceps more. All right. Maybe some JM presses. Peppermint says, Coach, how do you see you maintaining your strength into your 50s and 60s? By lifting intelligently and hard and keeping my nutrition and lifestyle on point. That's how. Jamie says, thoughts on Alex Leonidas suggesting decline bench is better than close grip. What do you mean better? That's like saying a hammer is better than a screwdriver. That's a stupid ass statement. A chainsaw is better than a blowtorch. See how stupid that sounds? All right. Alex Leonidas is built like a beer barrel. That's how you got that bench. Yeah. They block certain types of links on me. They don't block the way I did it. Yes, I am intimately familiar with how their systems work. All right. Marco said, would people be better off with upper, lower 4 times a week or a bro split 5 times a week? These days, I'm going to honestly say the bro split. I think you're going to last longer in the game. I train that way for a reason. Now, base building, though, early on, I think upper, lower 4 times a week works great. It works great for base building. I have no issue with it. Just because I'm doing something a certain way and think there are advantages doesn't mean the other way can't work phenomenally well. So we do need to be clear on that. I think separating stuff out, this is where I'm going to agree with guys like O'Hearn who've made it a really long time in the game. And it's something I've observed the more decades I've done this, my joints just simply feel better. All right. Thoughts on Alex Leonidas competing in bodybuilding, claiming natty? I don't care if he claims natty. What are your all-time PRs in comp and gym lifts? You can see it all in here. Comp, you can see my open powerlifting. My gym lifts that I've done that I would say are meet legal. I've definitely done a 515 squat that would pass in pretty much any fed on camera. 635 deadlift. I've done a 365 pause bench for a 2-second pause with my heels flat on camera on this channel with calibrated plates. Wooby says, I've seen jam press performed differently by different people. Some people bring it to the neck, some to the skull crusher. What do I do? Find the one that you feel works your triceps and just run with it. Bob, I didn't see what you deleted. Thoughts on people saying Alex is a younger version of yourself, both super ripped. I don't know about that. Younger version of me. I don't really see it. I don't dislike Alex. I think Alex is a good kid. There was some beefing in the past, but to be honest, I think he's come a long way. I don't hold any ill will toward him. I quite frankly think he's got a pretty good channel, good information, and the kid's strong and jacked. You know, what more do you want? What place do you recommend for a home gym? Depends on your budget. I would just get some regular old iron standard plates if you're on a budget. Coach, thoughts on Milo Wolf suggesting 20 to 30 weekly sets per body part? And he's a clown who barely looks like he lifts. He doesn't look like he lifts in the shirt. That's going to be my response to that silly nonsense, 30 sets a week bullshit. Jesus Christ. Bob, yeah, when I was younger, but I don't have evidence. So, Bob, here's the thing. Because I can't prove it, I'm not going to claim it. And I think that's fair because of the way people are online, the way people accuse stuff. Since I do not have video evidence, I don't have competition evidence of anything over 400 pounds when younger, even though people can tell I was clearly jacked, I'm just going to not claim it. And I think that's reasonable. What I can prove beyond a reasonable doubt is that I've done 365 with calibrated plates for a 2-second pause in my 40s on camera. So I'll just leave it there. Those lifts are awesome, dude. I saw the deadlift, but I have to question. Well, then you don't know anything about rogue plates. If you have to question if they're real, contact Rogue and ask them. Because I bought them from them and they came with the certified papers that they're calibrated weights. All of their 45s are blue, just like all their 20 kilos are blue. That is the color they manufacture or their competition plates. It's common knowledge. You can verify it with the company. Do you consider yourself a fatherly figure to your clients? One time, honestly, most of my clients are older these days. I mean, I've got a couple clients in their early 20s, so those are kids. But my average client is late 20s or 30s or 40s at this point. You know, I have as many clients as I do over 40 who are under 30. So not really. Will be Jason, whether you like it or not, the most efficient strategy in the industry is to claim that nothing else matters. That Mike O'Hearn starts. Yeah, exactly. And I also had said it would have never counted. It was bouncing off my chest with 2 people helping the lockout. All you, bro. It wouldn't have counted, and I shouldn't even have claimed it. But even then, let's come back over to what have you seen me do? So let's stick with what we have observed. Coach, not only that, but he agreed with Mike Israetel with his 20 to 30 set nonsense. Yeah, it's nonsense. Jamie says, Coach, if given a $2 million deal to train one athlete, would you rather work with Dwayne Johnson? What a silly question, because that's ever going to happen. I'm not going to talk about Paul at all. I'm just going to leave that alone. We're not going to discuss him out of fairness. So we're just going to leave that alone. No, Antonio, dude, you don't know Antonio's personality. Antonio doesn't listen to anybody. But Wooby says, who would I rather train? I don't know. Honestly, I don't even know how to answer that question, to be fair. Can I just pick one? I'll just go with John Cena. I'm just picking it randomly. Coach, can you do a video where you do body measurements to shut the haters up? You can't shut haters up. I mean, it's pretty obvious I'm pretty damn jacked. You guys have seen DEXA scans. You've seen me measure my height. You've seen my weight. I'm bigger and more jacked than during the DEXA scans. So, and leaner. You can't shut haters up. I don't even understand the concept. Do you believe in NEAT for obesity prevention? If so, how do you implement it? I don't understand the question. Did you see that Batista lost because you just said, how do you implement something when I don't even understand how you think that's going to prevent obesity? No, why don't you move less and eat? Move more and eat less. There's your problem. Bob said, did you see Batista lost all of his muscle? He did it intentionally, though. I don't think he lost all of it. He just downsized. Coach, have you found that other fitness influencers have shouted you out or tried to reach out to you? Nope. No, I have not found that at all. Vegan Games tried to reach out to me, and I'm not ready to touch back. I'm going to wait a bit. I will eventually get back to him. To my knowledge, Vegan Games is the only influencer who has reached out to me at all lately. I mean, other than Chris Jones, but Chris and I've always been cool. But, you know, Chris is the real deal. Like, Chris does what he wants to do. He speaks his mind and he doesn't hold back. It's just, he just keeps it, he keeps it real, dude. All right. Oh, I heard him that, yeah. What a weirdo. Let's get rid of this guy. Coach, I'm currently doing one day a heavy stretch arm excellent, such as barbell preachers, cable overhead extension, seated superset in one day of only unilateral movements with the same movements. Okay. Well, props to Vegan Games for that. Yeah, I mean, I'll eventually take him up on that. I don't know if he should. Marco, you guys have to tell me because I can't. He doesn't even have videos that I can see. Ubi says, why does Squat University and Dr. Milo give so much advice and don't look impressive and aren't strong? Well, here's my response to that. Here's my response to that. Exercise science is an applied science. What does that tell you? Wooby, you already know that a DEXA scan measures everything, including your height. And you guys need to drop this. This silly height nonsense is the most ridiculous, stupid shit I have ever heard in my life. I'm sorry, I've been seen in public next to other influencers. For internet purposes, I'm technically 6 foot, but I'm not actually 6 foot. Because I'm the same height as the guys who write 6 foot online when I stand next to them. End of discussion. Don't include me in y'all silly shit when people lying about their height. All right. Would you consider a debate against Milo? What's he going to argue about how to be weak and small? I mean, he's going to quote studies, walk off this study and that. And I'm like, okay, let's measure it under a 500-pound barbell squat. Why don't you look like you lift in a shirt? We're done. Why can't you lift anything? You're young and have been training for years. You have no excuses. All right. While giving bad advice, like let's do 30 sets of muscle work, which is, again, ludicrous. There are people twice his size who do 5 to 10 sets who will clown him all day long. Sorry. That's just a simple reality. Jason, what are your thoughts on Dwayne Johnson claiming Natty for decades is good for business? Paul Carter hates by the wolf and constantly calls him an idiot. And look, I'm not saying Paul doesn't have his problems, but I mean, let's be realistic here. Any problems people have with Paul's personality aside, because a lot of people don't like Paul's personality. A lot of people don't like my personality. So what? Is Paul jacked? Do his clients get jacked? Does he put out good information? I have more respect for Mike because he's at least big and strong. I mean, I don't dislike Mike. I have friends who don't like Mike. But yeah, at least Mike walks the walk. Okay. So again, I may not agree with everything he says. I agree with a lot of things Mike says, though. All right. Booby says, Coach, how much weaker are your overhead tricep movements compared to bilateral? Are you talking? Those are, oh my God, I don't even understand your question. You're going to need to completely reword that. Bilateral can be overhead. Do you see the problem with your question? So completely reword that question, rethink it. Ruthless says, do you think you have reached your peak plus your age and training to be 25 years seems to be fun? No, man, I'm Ruthless. Have I made progress recently? Do I look better than I did a month ago or 6 months ago? Omi and Brad puts out a lot of information that a lot of experts think is bullshit too, right? Keep that in mind. Keep in mind that Dr. Brad is controversial in many ways. Keep in mind there are whole circles of even other researchers who think that he's flat wrong. You see the problem? I'm just saying. Okay. Right. Paul currently called out Milo for the LinkedIn partials gimmick because they themselves recently made study on LinkedIn partials and they showed zero benefit over full range of motion. And I mean, the thing to keep in mind with a lot of the exercise science research, it's difficult to draw conclusions from a lot of it. It's poorly funded, short studies, very small sample groups. You have to be careful how much you try to do that. Oh my God. Philip, my dad didn't help me. People come up with the weirdest theories. I just don't get it. And you guys need to get lives and quit obsessing over me. Do you think you'd ever debate Revival Fitness? He's strong, gives decent advice. He also believes that oxalates and things are bad for you. So that's that. What more can you say that he doesn't understand the human body, doesn't understand nutrition? So does he give decent advice? If he's pushing this carnivore thing now, I'm going to say that his advice is really horrifically bad. If that's what he's doing, he's going to hurt people and he's going to harm his own health. So what more do we need to say? I mean, that sort of good advice on lifting or not is one thing, but when you're putting out really bad nutrition advice to that degree, that's inexcusable. That's harmful to people. So how then do we pretend that that person's a good source of fitness information? And I don't know what his training advice is, to be fair. Like, I don't follow him, so I don't really know. Coach, is at the same age you think Jeff Niffer could out squatted you at his age? I have no idea. Who cares? Some person's age out squat me by their age. Nobody cares. I'll just go with yes, sure. You probably could do. You know, all right. We'll just throw on to Jeff's favors. Yeah, probably. All right. Peppermint Revival has gone down in my estimation. That's why I said he could learn from you. I mean, yeah, if he's promoting carnivore and literally thinks oxalates and things are harmful in your diet, then, I mean, damn. In any event, if you guys need to click them likes, we're not getting the likes that we should for this many views and comments. I see all these people commenting and 5 likes on the video. What's up with that? Right? All right. Let's keep them questions coming. There we go. Another like. Everybody wants to talk about all these other influencers. I guess it's going to be a day where we talk about other influencers, and that's what everybody wants to discuss. So keep them coming. Revival got pretty diced, though. He's got an impressive physique. Also never claimed that carnivore. Well, I don't know what he claims. I don't watch his stuff, but I definitely apparently have seen some evidence that he promotes carnivore. And that's enough for me to say, out. All right, Chickpea Baby says thoughts on Bassim. Is that something at Denny's? Like, is that a meal? Bubby, the fact that you even know who that weirdo genetic beast is already is a strike against you, dude. I mean, the fact that you've even ever watched the guy. Will you do a community walk stream from your phone? No, because I don't want to be able to try to regulate that and get rid of trolls while walking. Not interested in doing that. Plus, I mean, I'm walking and doing cardio. I'm going to eventually get somewhat fatigued. Probably not. I don't see that likely. I'm going to keep doing the little shorts, though. Why not? People like them. They're easy to do. They're fast. They don't really take any time out of my day. But no, I plan on doing my lives like this to where I have my desktop and I can do everything. Thoughts on vegan gains drinking soda in between sets? I don't have thoughts on that. That just seems really strange to me, but whatever. What are you calling a soda? Are you talking about like a Diet Coke, or are you talking about high fructose corn syrup? So if he's promoting high fructose corn syrup, then he needs to quit talking about meat and stuff being bad for you, because that is just as bad for you as saturated fat. So if that's what he is doing, then he's giving bad nutrition advice. It's harmful to people. Seems like Revival is going through a phase like you did, and it could be the case. How long was your weighted vest walk today? I didn't time it. See, Omi, I don't give those answers because I don't care. I don't time them. It's GPP. And if you understand the concept of GPP as they did it at Westside, you would understand why I don't bother to track it or plan it. It's just GPP, guys. It's general physical preparedness. Not the main focus of my training. It's just there to get me in a little better shape. That's it. The focus is on the lifting. It will always be the focus. I ran one of Athlete Nexus programs. I've heard everyone who ran his programs has gotten bad results personally, but that's only what I've heard. He had guest coaches, including CT Fletcher. Do you have input from coaches in your program, or you design something and collab with another coach? Why do I need to design anything collab with another coach? And if they're cookie cutter programs, they're for noobs anyways. They need to be custom programming once you're out of the novice phase. So what do you mean? Chickpea, I have no trouble with 5x5s. You're asking for me personally? I don't know that that's really what I have no problem with a noob doing a 5x5. I think they need to add some curls and stuff though. But a 5x5 is perfectly fine for a noob. I'm not sure where we're getting a miscommunication. Coach, I'm 56 years old. For fatty chuck steaks after a workout, do you think protein absorption is less effective than just eating a Greek yogurt? Probably. Wooby, doesn't that make GPP pointless? Nope, it doesn't. No, because you're not trying to progressively overload it. You are doing SPP in that case. Specific physical preparedness with a programmed outcome. Okay. I was curious if it was 5-minute walk or not. It was between that number. It was not at those short or longer extremes. I can only do 15 minutes because of knee pain. Well, then do your 15 minutes. Why? How old are you, man? Why do you have knee pain? What's the problem? Fix your hamstrings. Dean says walking is amazing for calorie burn. We are human and we are supposed to use our legs as much as possible. It's a blessing. We can watch YouTube on our phones while being on the move. That's true. Why not do SPP over GPP cut into commercial? Because I'm not training specifically for a specific outcome with that. Meaning, why do I need to waste energy for something that has no value to me personally or competitively? Okay. I'm not training to win the weighted vest Olympics. I'm not training to win the sled Olympics. I'm using them just to get my heart rate up and to keep my heart health on point and to burn a few calories. You don't even have to progressively overload to do that. You're aware of that, right? Just like when let's say that you're lifting weights to get to a certain point and you want your chest a certain size, say, okay, that's it. I want my chest right there. That was my goal. Do you need to keep increasing, or do you just keep doing your 3 sets of 10 with 225 for the rest of your life? Because the breakfast chats were stupid. It was a bad idea. Trying to give people what they wanted, and then I was really unhappy with it. And it just looks weird. And it's just masturbation material for weirdos. That's why they want to watch you eat on camera. It's weird. I need to get paid for that. I need an OnlyFans to eat on camera. All right. Jamie says, Coach, which is a safe spot rep-wise on +1 set to up weight 3 or 5 reps? What do you mean? On 5-3-1, you need to read the books then to determine the 5-3-1 stuff. I don't have all of that memorized as far as the progression, so sorry. Would doing a longer walk do the trick? No, because I probably get better heart rate and better energy burn, and I save time by wearing the weight vest. I don't have to spend as much time walking. That's the whole point. Do you not want to know how many calories you burn doing GPP to help track? You don't know how many calories you burn doing it anyways. Are you in a sealed room with $100,000 lab where they're measuring your oxygen consumption with sophisticated equipment and a closed system? Then you don't know how many calories you're burning doing any of your cardio. Those measurements are not real. They're just make-believe. It's pretend. Do you ever used to do any cycling as in a mountain bike? When I was like 12. All right. Do you still recommend hard gainers drink like a gallon of milk a day? Probably not. I mean, I recommend hard gainers do whatever they need to do to get their calories in. That's just one tool in the toolbox. I would honestly just as happily have them do peanut butter. Favorite Pearl Jam song? There was one of them that I liked that I forgot the name of. The only Pearl Jam song I can even remember the name of is called Jeremy, and I don't like it that much. Name some Pearl Jam songs, and I'll tell you which one I think I like. I can't remember any of their stuff at this point. I haven't heard Pearl Jam in 20 years. Coach, would you suggest yoga or therapeutics such as cold? Therapeutics and cryotherapy are counterproductive. You should not do them ever for any reason. Sauna's fine, heat's fine, hot baths are fine. If you had to be stuck on an island with 3 fitness influencers, who would you pick? We'll go with that Carrie Ann June chick. We're going to go with Vlad Sava Galan. And who's that other hot chick? Can't be anybody with a penis, though, that's for sure. I don't know, pick some other random attractive woman who's a fitness influencer. All right. Even Flow is probably the most fun. Yeah, that was a decent song. Omi, because you can keep a ballpark estimate of your calories, right? You can keep a general floating thing. All right. Dean says, I enjoy mountain biking. I go way up the hills. Haven't done it in quite a while. Scotland's too cold and wet now. All right, fair enough. Thoughts on Carrie Ann June saying she's not on orals? Yeah, let's go with Danny Spiegel. I can run with that. Coach, I once saw a clip of you on Squat Universe. Just wanted to bring it up. Oh, I'm sure he didn't have anything nice to say. Or did he? I can keep general calorie expenditure based on heart rate, exercise time, or you can base it upon the scale. Because your calories burned during your cardio will change what you burn at rest. You're aware of this, right? So even if you perfectly tracked it, you're going to have to account for the down regulation in NEAT during your downtime from the extra expenditure during the cardio. So why don't you just keep up with the scale and keep a floating calorie count based on how the scale goes up and down week to week? Yeah, dude, I'm not going to share the island with Chris. We're not doing that. You know, he does rows for the host. I can't have that. Can't have that. All right. No, sorry, Chris. Love you, bro, but no, we're not sharing. Yeah, Omi, you're not thinking about all that stuff of understanding the complexity with tracking calorie burn. I think Squat University might have some good stuff when it comes to rehab. He's a physical therapist after all, but definitely not for someone who wants to get strong and jacked. Yep. Why even look to have a scale? Because, Omi, it's a useful tool. You see what I mean? I take giving you guys valuable tools, and because you don't like my answer, you just want to throw everything out and say, don't measure, don't bother with anything. No, why don't you just do what fucking works? Instead of coming up with silly hypotheticals, why don't we just take the strategies that have worked for centuries for all the best athletes and all the best coaches and just run with it. I'm just telling you, you can't track the calorie expenditure off that cardio, but you can keep up with your general maintenance. Just don't try to be obsessive with it, because you can't track it obsessively. It's not going to work. You don't have the millions of dollar budget to do it. But you can keep up with the scale and keep up with whether you're gaining or losing weight. It's not that complicated. But that being said, no, I don't need to program my cardio because of your explanation. Why? And if you think that you know more, then go start your own channel and your own coaching business. And let's see you build impressive, amazing clients. Problem solved. See how easy that is? Squat University obsession over perfect symmetry leads to form image disorders not getting stronger. Yeah, plus the human body is asymmetrical anyways. Bubby says, are arm unilateral movements fluff, or are they effective at all for natties, or should I? No, I mean, they can be helpful. Have you noticed fitness people posting less on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook seems to be a trend? No, and I don't really care what other people are doing. Not my problem. I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and they can do what they can do. And we just let it all land where it's going to land. You can tell how little I care about what they're doing. All right. Omi, we should use the available. Okay, Omi, stop arguing and listen to understand. Okay. Those fitness watches don't do anything. They're not useful. I'm trying to make this simple and easy for you. Just adjust your intake based on the scale every week. Done. Because you're trying to include useless tools and you're going to waste your time. You're going to get into paralysis by analysis, and you're going to waste a whole lot of time. Right? I'm just trying to help you. But if you don't want to listen and you want to argue, that's fine. But don't pretend later that I didn't try to help you. All right. Ruby says, last day on earth, Jason, you're getting pizza or bottomless ice cream first. No trying to derail your diet. Probably pizza. I prefer pizza over ice cream anyways. Bradley Martin's gym charges $300 a month for membership. It's crazy stupid he has clients at that price. Not necessarily. A lot of people pay that much for good gyms. Coach, if invited to a jiu-jitsu session, would you attend? No, I don't just show up to any random thing I get invited to. What will be the point? Random people on the internet invite me to something. No, hell no, I'm not going. Ruby says, when will you raise your prices again? When the market dictates it. Not before or after that. And you say, well, when will that be? I don't know. I gave you the answer. When the market appears to dictate it. Could be in 3 months. It could be in 3 years. Coach, did you ever visit Greg's when you were in the UK? I don't even know what that means. You guys got to ask your questions in more detail. You need to be like, Greg's is a famous cheese maker in the province of, something. You guys got to work with me on this a little bit. 10 says, hello, Jason. Rutha says, fitness watch is a placebo effect that gets you motivated to do things. There's no harm. Example, do you need road calibrated plates? Yeah, here's why I bought the calibrated plates. I bought them so that people couldn't accuse me of using fake plates. Do you need them? No. Do I need them for my business? The answer is yes. I didn't mean invited you to it. I meant from a personal friend of yours, peer pressure to attend. First of all, none of my friends would peer pressure me into a goddamn thing. No friend of mine would do that. They know better. So how do you like that answer? My friends peer pressure me. Go ahead, ask any of my friends how well that would work out. That's some weak stuff right there. My friends peer pressured me into something. Damn. Sounds like you need to change your crew. Because the space between what's the best to have exercise people with scoliosis? I don't know your specific situation, so I can't answer it. Anyone can buy fake road plates online nowadays. Well, I'm not aware of this. Ruthless. Bro, you bought the road plate so that people couldn't accuse you of using fake plates, but you still get accused of using fake plates. Yep. I am fully aware of this situation. But here's the thing. Reasonable people who aren't complete morons and know anything about weights, they disregard that. So, but yeah, and I've had real lifters come in and say that on my channel and stuff. Well, Whoopi, it sounds like you don't want to hang around here. You're going to bring up silly nonsense like that. Because you are saying I'm using fake plates. I'm going to be this Russian lifter. Well, why don't you eat a dick? All right. Bye-bye. All right. Pow, get your goofball ass out of here. Saying strength doesn't matter in a fight because the fighter would be the bigger guy who doesn't fight is ridiculous. Saying cardio doesn't matter in a fight because the fight. Yeah, that's a good question, Marco. Why does a fighter need any conditioning then, right? I mean, the better guy is just going to win anyways. Why do they need any conditioning? It's a nonsense reply. It's a nonsense reply. Coach, favorite Western movies? I'm going to go with Lonesome Dove. 1010, I have enough experience to know that without knowing a lot of specifics about your question, it's not good for me to answer it. Like I can't give you a good one. Can you make me a moderator, Coach? Nope. No other person will have any degree of control over any of my social media or content. Not going to happen. So, speed means power in boxing, always faster. You sure? 1010, so you're saying they don't need to weight lift, they don't need to do cardio or any of that, they just need to be fast? I don't know that's, so you're saying boxers don't need to do cardio either? They don't need any skill work, they just need to be fast? That's it? I don't know if I can get on board with that. And Marco says strength carries over to speed and power. Yes, it does. Mathematically verifiable by the laws of physics. Yep. 10 says striking is about hip and feet control. Okay. So you don't think boxers need to do any cardio? They don't need to be strong? Okay. You say so. I don't know that I'm going to agree with that statement. I think boxers should be strong and I think they should be conditioned in addition to all their skill work, just my opinion. Yeah. I think they should be jumping rope and running and lifting weights, personally. I think it'd be a good idea. All right. If you're trying to be the best in the world, it's all important. There is no, hey, this is more important. No, it's all important. If you are trying to excel at a sport like that and you neglect any of those, don't cry when you're not the best. Okay. I mean, it's straightforward. If you want to be good at sports, you need to train all the attributes involved with that sport, all of them. that are specific to your sport, of course. Coach, that was my question. Do jiu-jitsu, does strength training have any carryover to fighting sports? Oh, absolutely. Ridiculously so. And I coach people who compete in BJJ. I've even run a vlog for a pretty high level BJJ competitor. Like one of my clients I ran vlogs for. Right? You remember that? So yes, it very obviously carries over. All right. Have you ever experienced meniscus pain right at the knee joint? Nope. Can't say that I have. Nick Old School, I've been using overcoming isometrics. I don't even know what you mean by overcoming isometrics. Could you explain specifically what this is? Because I'm not a big fan of isometrics for hypertrophy. Not a whole lot of evidence that it's particularly useful. Saying your legs and arms have grown. Okay, maybe. Are you a novice? Have you done anything but isometrics? How do you know it's not the other stuff you did? Dean says, I hate when people say strength doesn't matter. And if I common sense would say it does, how stupid do people are? Mind you, everyone is tough behind the screen. Right? I tell you what, let Deep Purple just go on ahead and show up and interview me. I would love that. Let him just show up at my door. Go real well. People hide behind the screen for a reason, guys. They hide their real names for a reason. They're not going to show up. They're not stupid enough. Again, people are tough on the internet, hiding their real names. Coach, is it detrimental to weekly lifting progress to train abs every day in different variations, leg raises, deficits? It could be, potentially. It could be. Depends on your total recovery. I honestly kind of like doing abs frequently personally. It's just that it's a pain in the butt to do it, but I've never noticed detrimental effects to it. Yeah, no, I wouldn't go to jail at all, guys. I don't think you guys have realized how much I've documented with police, all these goofball stalkers. My self-defense case would be pretty ironclad at this point. I have a black belt in karate friend who is 5'6", 160 pounds, and claims he can take down an NFL linebacker with ease. You think, no, he's full of it. All right. Yeah, but 10-10, he's talking about taking down an NFL linebacker, someone who actually does hit people professionally really hard for a living. That's not a person who just lays around and doesn't do anything. I mean, let's be realistic. Do you really want a 300-pound lineman, NFL lineman, who generates that type of force to just tackle you? I mean, think about it. How much do you think your martial arts skill, if you're 160 pounds, are going to help you when a 320-pound NFL lineman just hits you and tackles you full steam? I think your black belt is going to be useless at that point. He just has to make contact. Unless you're fast enough to get out of his way, and he might be the guy, maybe be able to do 37 backflips through the air and get out of his way, okay. But if he doesn't, no, nonsense. I don't care how tough you are or skilled you are. You don't want a 300-plus pound NFL lineman tackling you. Come on. Ridiculous. Coach, at what point should you start performing deficit deadlifts as accessory work for conventional whenever you want to? I think deficits can even be a primary movement, to be honest. What do you think of the recent long length partial craze? I think it's finally coming to an end. It was just another passing fad like all the others, and it'll be over here shortly now that data's coming out clowning it. and it'll be something else next year. Peppermint, that's what I thought, Coach. A 300-pound lineman charge you. Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do? Maybe do a beautiful roundhouse kick and slow down the momentum. We're not talking about some guy. You're talking about someone who gets out on a field and practices tackling people full steam over and over, who can produce enormous amounts of force. Okay, that is its own skill. Just saying. All right. As a 6'3" guy, are deficit deadlifts riskier? Not necessarily. Jeff, you borderline there already. I don't have any agility on me. I'm old and slow. I'm not going to stand there and fist fight with somebody. I'm too old to get hit in the face. No, I'm not doing it. I'm too old and too ornery. Well, Your Honor, I was scared of getting in a fist fight because they could have had bloodborne pathogens, and just splattering their blood from punching them could have put me at risk of contamination. So I had to resort to, deadly force. Yeah. I don't care about fist fighting. Time for that stuff. I hear the next trend is the short length partials for increasing myosin. Yeah, exactly. We've already done that. That was 10 years ago. We've already done that. Sat now. See, we went from one end of the pendulum to the other. You could give them a try. I think it will add even more muscularity, considering they're focusing on more bodybuilding. Why would I? 10 tends to limit bodybuilding, but fighting and lifting are two completely different things. Because, Jeff, you're mentioning that guy. Because I saw it all written in code. The actual name wasn't written out. Who would win, Coach Jeff or Milo? Jeff who? Milo who? Milo of Croton versus Jeff Side? Well, Milo of Croton was bigger and stronger, but he's also been dead for over 2,000 years. You guys got to drop this first name thing. Jeff Nifford or Milo would win in what? Yeah, we got the forearm veins. They're popping out. Would win in what? I don't know which one. What is the contest? Do you ever Jefferson rack pull? I would never Jefferson rack pull from any length. What nonsense. What a nonsense exercise. Waste of time. Boxing between Milo or Nippert. I don't know which one has a boxing background. You got to give me more information here. Now, Jeff is strong, but Milo is something like 7 or 8 inches taller than him, isn't he, with really long arms? I don't know who has a boxing background. Is either one of them? Either one of them a trained fighter? We gotta get into some details. I don't have all this information. Coach, when are you getting back into powerlifting? When I'm ready to. Weird Flex, would you ever consider doing videos on finance advice? No, why would I? Is that supposed to be my area of expertise? Years ago, a trend was to lift 2 inches, insane amounts of weight running gym equipment in the process. Yep. Do you personally have an upper limit on total sets per workout? I have a floating number, but I don't know that I have a hard upper limit. I mean, you notice these days I do maybe 12 to 15 sets total at most per workout. My average is about, most of my workouts are about 12 sets, maybe 13. Right? Right. Another thing my friend said was that a martial artist will always beat an elite power. Would you agree? No, not necessarily. I mean, obviously, the martial artist is a better fighter, but it's, I've even seen Viata point that out, who coaches hybrid athletes. He's like, there's a certain point where size and strength, that if you're just a smaller martial artist, your leverages and skill are just not going to matter. When it's like hitting a brick wall, or even I have a friend who is a coach, and I chat with him online a lot. He's in his 40s like me. He is a martial artist who trains multiple styles of martial arts for over 20 years, right? And he's even said there comes a point where when you're trying to grapple a guy, he's like, we've had a guy come in the gym before who was a serious power lifter with an 800 plus pound deadlift. And he goes, his traps were so damn big that I couldn't even get him. I couldn't get the arm around him correctly to even choke him out. He's like, he goes, that's hard to fight against. You know, I mean, you need a context for this. And that's someone I know who really is actually kind of, he's a personal trainer, but he is really those martial arts. And again, he's got decades of experience, and he's even kind of said, he's like, there comes a point where it gets kind of hard to take them down. You know, there are limits. Yeah, we're not talking about a guy who deadlifts fly. Okay, taking me down if you're a skilled martial artist. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Right? But what happens when it's a guy who deadlifts 900 pounds and has straps up to his neck, and you can't even get a arm bar around his neck or anything, or you try to put him in a hold and he just moves and throws you? You see the point there? You still have to work within the laws of physics, and it's like there are limits to this sort of equation. You can't say always, right? Because I mean, how big and jacked of a strong of a strength athlete are you talking about? Take Chad Wesley Smith, elite, massive, heavyweight powerlifter. He went and started doing BJJ and does a few months, and he starts winning. Why? Because the guy squats 900 pounds. It didn't take a whole lot of him training, right? It didn't take a whole lot of him training before he was just destroying people, right? He needed like a few months, some good instruction for a few months, and then he was tough to beat. Beating dudes who had 10 years of experience because he squats 900 pounds and learned the basics. So no, this is nonsense. Again, not saying skill isn't absurdly critical, but again, Coach, how many times a week are you lifting? I do 5, and all 5 of them are uploaded to my channel with dates on them, Monday through Friday. I vlog every single workout year-round for 5 years straight. They're all here. Every work set I've done for the past 5 years is on the channel. All right. All right, we're at 58 minutes in. Time to wind this down. We'll be done for the day and give you guys another forearm shot at those veins before we go. So I hope it's been informative. I love all of you guys and gals. And I will talk to you next time. I'm a grown-ass man. I don't watch anime. Sorry.